seconds. Good afternoon, everyone. Spiritualist Church questions and answers. A few days, all we're going to do is we're just going to take about half an hour maximum, depending on your questions, obviously. But this is a questions and answers session. So we are encouraging you to basically come along and ask us any questions you want. This could be about the church. It could be about anything that's going on at church. It could be an interest in spiritualism that you want to ask us about. So please do comment. As you can probably see, I'm stood in the church and Pam's at home, socially distancing each other. But we're here, as I said, answer any questions. So we're not doing a mediumship session here. Basically what we're doing is we're wanting people to ask questions, and obviously we want to be able to interact with you back and answer them questions. So you will notice on your Facebook feed you've got the comments bar there. So what I want you to do is start typing in there your questions, and then me and Pam will do our best to answer them for you. We are having to do it over Zoom, so if you see me looking away from my screen, it's because I'm just checking my phone for the comments. So good evening, Sophie Owen. Nice to see you new here. Sophie's new, Pam, so we'll welcome you along. So please, Sophie, if you have any questions, ask away. Same goes to anyone else that's watching. We've got 12 people watching us at the moment.
That's good.
We would love, as I say, this is an encouraging part for Norton because we're wanting to engage with people that are interested in the church, and we're also wanting you to ask them questions that you might have, you know what I mean, like when do we open, things like that. And this is what it's all about. So I'll probably just start off with a quick look so you can just see what the church looks like, because I don't think Pam's seen this either. So I'm just going to flip my laptop round. So at the moment at Norton Church, we've been preparing for COVID. So as you can see, we've only got 22 chairs that are available there at the moment. Them 22 chairs are going to be bookable chairs. And we would, they are going to be available online to book when we do open back up in September, I think it is, isn't it, Pam? We're looking at September.
Yeah, we're looking at about mid-September, aren't we?
Yeah. So, yeah, September time we're looking at using an app called Eventbrite. Now, as you've probably just seen there from when I've turned the camera around, the seats are in pairs. The reason we've done the seats in pairs is because we get a lot of congregation coming in that that turn up in couples or with a friend. So the advice that we're giving is if you're from the same household, you can book them pair of chairs, or if it's yourself and someone from your bubble, your support bubble, you can sit together at them chairs. Now the chairs are spread out at 2 meter distances. It's your choice whether you want to wear a face mask and gloves when you come in. At the moment, it's not mandatory for us to do it, but it is in the shops. So we are saying it's your own choice at the moment. If that government advice changes, then obviously we need to adhere to that. So that's where we're at with the planning stages at the moment. We're getting the hand sanitizer stations ready. I'm getting the markers and things ordered as well for the church, for the floor marking and things. And it's going to be a one-way system in the church, one way in, one way out. We're going to use the front door for everything. because we can. So we've had our first question in from Sophie Palm. So I don't know whether you want to go first with this one. It says, I'd love to know how you started on your journey with spiritualism.
Right. Yeah, well, my journey started when I was quite young, around about 19, 20 years of age. And I just was interested, and I couldn't find anywhere to go because I hadn't looked at all about spiritualist churches. However, it's amazing how once you start searching, things just come into place. And especially now what we've got this device, the computer system, you can go in and zoom into anything now. So you are very, very fortunate in your respect that you were searching maybe earlier than what I was. However, once I got the thoughts of, oh, well, I'll go, I went to one church and lovely. Somebody suggested, why don't you go to Norton? They've got a nice big car park. They've got a lovely church. Why don't you go along there and have a look? And once I walked into our church that I am at now, 40 years later, nearly 40 years later, I wanted to stay there. And that was my first thought, right? I'm into this, I'm quite happy. And people were very, very kind and very, very welcoming. And we hope that we carry this on to this day. And most people say that we do. So hopefully, if you decide to come along and meet us, you will get the same welcome as we give most people that walk into our church. And I hope you do, and come and join us.
Yeah. So I'll just follow on from that for you, Sophie, as well. So my journey was quite different to Pam's. I was probably what you would call atheist, I suppose. I didn't believe in anything, even though I was christened as a Christian when I was a child by my parents. And it was one of my friends who was the vice president, Lee, who introduced me to Norton Church, and we came in, and I'd buried my grandma the weekend that I came in, and I didn't know what to expect or anything, and I was sat quite to the front of the rostrum, and I can't remember the medium that was on at the time because it's a long, long time ago now. I think I've been here about 12 years, haven't I, in total, I think it is.
Round about that, yeah.
And basically the medium came to me and he gave me a lot of evidence, telling me things that I'd never told anyone. Into it, and then for some reason online social media and the papers was costing a fortune, so we went with the social media, so I set all that up, and then obviously I got invited by Pam to come to the class. So I started my journey probably about 10 years ago into mediumship, and then I joined the committee about 2 years after that. So it was basically it was something of an eye opener for me, I would say. But once you get into it, you know, it's like a fishing hook when you catch a fish. You just get hooked onto it, and you can't let go, and it just pulls you in more and more and more and more. The more you want to learn, the more it pulls you in. So yeah, so that's basically where my journey began, and that's where we're at the moment. So I'm a working medium. Pam's a working medium. Most of our committee are working mediums, but a lot of them choose to stay on site, which is absolutely fine. And then, you know, I go out and do services now and again. Pam goes out. Got trustees that go out and do services as well. So, you know, there's lots of things. But yeah, it's a lovely journey to have here. It feels like home here. I do need to say that. It feels like home here. You walk into a lot of churches and, you know, the lovely churches, but this just feels like home to me. So, yeah. it's a good church to be in. So next question was, what happens when you visit the church? That's off lowest best. So I don't know whether you want to put a little bit more to that, Lois, or not, because I'm not quite, if you're talking about the COVID situation, what happens when you visit the church. So if we're talking about COVID, what's going to happen is we need to do some finalisation with the committee yet. It's not set in stone. So we do need to keep saying this to you, of that it could come to a point where we have to look at moving the date again. It's all dependent on these local lockdowns and everything like that. So at the moment, we're aiming for September. Other churches in the area are opening up, but our aim is September. And we're probably looking at around about the middle of September, possibly. And for you to come into church, as I said at the beginning when we started off, we're looking at using an online system called Eventbrite. Now, that will guarantee you a chair of booking. So you will be able to book seats out. Now, they are bookable in twos. So if it's someone from the same household or from the same support bubble that you're doing, then you can obviously book them 2 chairs. Now, I have just seen a question come in there. What happens if odd number for chairs, example 3? So in regards to if you're one person by yourself, it's what we'll do is we'll just remove that additional chair from the room, or just leave it beside you. It's because if we take 3 of the chairs away, just so there's 1 chair per row on the row, then we're going to lose 3 chairs away from that booking. So it's better if you can come in multiples of 2. Now, what I do need to say to you as well is, we are looking to continue doing this on Zoom. So if you can't get a booking in the church on the night, you still have the Zoom room to come into, and you can still view the service. The only difference with the Zoom room is that there's going to be, unless the medium chooses to do this, I need to stress that. If the medium chooses to start using the Zoom, that's fine. But if they don't, it's only going to be a watching service through Zoom, so you can still participate there. So the idea with the chairs is that you book the chairs. If you can't make it as well, we need to be notified of it. Now, there's a conversation going on with the committee at the moment. We are probably going to put a small charge on the chairs. And the reason for the small charge is because we've got medium expenses to cover if the medium comes. So the medium's expenses are not always cheap, and we'll be honest with you about that. They're not always cheap. So we need to make sure that we're covering the expenses, but also covering the costs of running the church as well. So there may be a charge put on the seats, and there may be a small charge put on to get into the Zoom room as well. That's still in talks with the committee at the moment. There's nothing finalised on that yet. So once we know what's happening with that, we will share that information with you. So again, we're getting quite a few COVID questions here. Sorry, Pam.
Right.
What happens if odd number, e.g. 3? So you can only book chairs in 2s. So if there's 3 of you, you're obviously going to occupy 2 chairs plus another chair. So you're going to be doing 2 bookings. But what you're going to be doing is obviously there'll only be 3 of you out of them 4 seats. So that's what happens if it's 3, okay? You'd have to do 2 bookings for 2 sets of chairs. And you can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. Just means that someone else can't sit in that chair. So it's better if you can try and do it in doubles. So 2, 4, etc. That would be the best way of doing it. if you can. Okay, so could you tell me the prices for the classes again? So the prices for the classes is normally £5 membership a year, and you get your first class for free with that. So you'll do your first class for free, and then weekly after that, when the classes are on, so the classes run on a Thursday night at 7:30. If anyone is interested, drop us a message on Facebook, because we're probably looking at starting them up next year now. We're not going to be able to do it this year. It's too short of a period, so we're probably looking at next year for that. And they're £3 a session. And what we do ask is that you do attend on a weekly basis, because you can miss a lot by not attending. So we would require you to come on a weekly basis to the classes. We also try and ask you to attend at least one service a week as well, which we just ask because it gives you some grounding and information, and you can watch mediums and see how they're working, how you want to work, etc., etc. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Pam, because Pam's done this class in the past. So do you just want to give a brief overview of what the beginners class is like, Pam? So,
yes. Well, the beginners class is very gentle. We don't expect wonders of anybody. We invite like-minded people who want to come along and join us. We sit in a circle, and we do always start with a little light meditation, or just quietening your mind. We put some music on, and everyone just sits quietly. And it's your start of learning how to meditate. We don't expect you to be able to do it straight away. A lot of people take a lot of time. A lot of people, meditation isn't for them. However, once you've done that, maybe it's only perhaps 10 minutes at the most. The rest of the night, then, we explain about spiritualism. We explain a little bit about how we've come into it. We explain the rules and regulations of the church. And then we start and say to you, now, what we're going to do next week, we'd like you to come along, and absolutely no pressure on you. We'd like you to come along, and we're going to start and teach you the chakras in your body, and talk about that a little bit, and how that is very, very important in starting to learn about spiritualism. We also offer you the chance to, if you're interested, to go on to do a little bit more. But if you don't, and you can sit there week after week, but you will find that you'll be drawn in, and you'll want to do it as well. We give a snippet of each little thing that we do. We do a little bit of healing. We do a little bit of psychometry, which is some holding an object. And we do a little bit of that, and we ask you to bring something along. We might ask you to bring a flower along another week so that we can work with flowers. We do ribbons. That's another nice service, the ribbon service. So therefore, we do a little bit of that sort of thing. Each week, we do something different. And it gets the interest going, and it gives you a little bit of a tool to work with. And it's you're under no pressure whatsoever at all. If you want to just sit and take messages, which usually happen in the development circle, there's often 1 or 2 messages given out. That's fine, but it's very, very gentle, no pressure. So that's the first class you go into. It's the awareness class, really. It's making you aware of spirit that's around you. And I hope that's answered your questions on that.
Thank you for that, Pam. And I'll just give you a brief overview of what else we do as well. So we are looking at hopefully starting our workshops back up if we can, if we get the interest. So this is where it's good for you guys to be looking at this, because you can obviously see what we're doing and things. So one thing that churches normally do provide is workshops, and they do depend on the intake of the person doing them. So if there's a group of people that are particularly interested in a subject, i.e., for example, mediumship, beginning mediumship and things like that, then we can accommodate that. As long as we've got the interest there to do it from our members and our congregation and you guys that join us online, then obviously, you know, that's available for you. It is a chargeable event. We normally look at around about £15, and that's for a full day normally. So there would normally be around about 10 to 15 people in a group, and it would either be a medium or an on-site medium would take that. They would then go through the teachings through the day with you. So it'd be from 10 till 4. That's what we normally run. And we normally stop about 12:30, 1 o'clock for a dinner break and then crack on the afternoon. Now, people go workshops. What are workshops? Well, the key's in the word, because I remember last year doing a workshop with the lovely Andrea Dunn from Spennymoor Church. And one of my class came in and they said to me, oh, I didn't realise I had to do any work. And I was like, well, the key words in workshop. So what I need to say to you is a workshop is working. So it's training you to do things, okay? So you will be working in them. And the good thing is it pushes them boundaries a bit more for you. So you're always getting pushed, and it's good to get out of your comfort zone. So that's one thing that we're looking at doing as well. We do other things as well. Like we do hold special events and things like that. We do psychic suppers and things like that. We've done in the past. We've done Halloween nights, things like that. And we get mediums in and they normally do readings. We also have, normally during the year, we normally have an Easter fete, a summer fete and a Christmas fete. And that's normally the church open. And we have mediums in the church where I'm stood now working. They charge £15 for the reading, and all the money goes back to the church. So it's money that's generated back for the church. But in the other room, in the tea room, which is just beside me, we normally have stalls and things in there, and people can sit down, have a cup of tea, a chat, things like that. So we make it very welcoming for people. So that's one thing that we do there. And then just to touch on the base of from the beginners class, myself, I run the middle/top class. And that's done in the church. Now, it's not everyone's cup of tea. Let's be honest about it. It's not everyone's cup of tea. And I appreciate that of people, you know, being honest, it's not for me, and that's fine. But if you were to come to the top class, we're training you to become a working medium. We are giving you them fundamental tasks of being able to communicate with spirit. And we are trying to help you along your way. And we don't ask for anything back. All we ask for is that you support us and help us out when we need help. That's all we ask. We don't like to keep hold of people and say, your hours, you can't go anywhere. It's nothing like that. So definitely the top class / middle class, it's more advancement, I would say. That's about right, isn't it, Pam? It's more advanced. It's more
you're advancing yourself.
Yeah, so you're going up to a higher level. So we're actually pushing you to communicate with spirit in the top class. Another thing that we do as well, which I've seen Linda Richmond on. Linda's our healer leader. So if you didn't want to go down the rostrum road of being able to communicate with spirit, we do a healing class as well. Now, the healing class, that's again a £5 start subscription. So if you're already a member, you don't have to pay that again. And it's just £3 every week. And that's just to come along and learn how to heal and become a certified healer, because we train you up to be certified. So you know what you're doing in that. And there's a lovely person called David Rowe. He runs the Lancashire Healing Association, and he's based down in Bolton, and he accredits us and everything. So he'll come up, do the checks. He likes to meet the healers once a year that we've trained, just to see how they do and if they've got any questions or anything. So that's another avenue you can look at. Then we've got also another class on a Monday night, which is Kevin Spinlow, is it, Pam?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, Kevin Spinlow.
Get that going again.
On Monday nights, Kevin does a meditation class. So that's for you to come in, just sit down and relax. Now, Kevin normally takes an influx at the beginning of the year, and then he tries to keep the group at that after that. So if you are interested in meditation, we need to know when that class starts back up, because the group will close off quite quickly. We normally give it about 6 weeks, I think it is, isn't it? And
That's
then it
right.
gets closed
Yeah.
off. So after 6 weeks, the group gets closed off, and then it's just down to that group for the remainder of the period that the class runs. And that normally starts back up when we start the classes. So that's February time. So I think we've covered a lot on the classes, workshops, and things there. So thank you for that question. So another question. When you arrive, how does the service go? Is there a medium talking throughout? Also, are younger children allowed at the service? Do you want to take that one, or do you want me to answer it?
Yes, I'll answer that one. Well, we welcome children in our church very, very much. Well-behaved children, of course. We don't run nursery classes, but we do get an awful lot of children coming along with their parents or guardians. And also, as you enter the church, you'll be given a hymn book. Well, at the moment, we're not doing hymns, but you'll be giving a book. And a lot of the children like to join in the singing, because when we start the service, obviously, we have a hymn. We do an opening prayer. This is the medium who's introduced to do the service for that evening. We get a different medium for every service that we hold. They do the prayers. They do. Then we sit quietly for a healing minute, just as we do on the what we're working on now. We do the healing minute with some music, and then the medium then will do a little bit of what we call philosophy or an address. They will give that. Perhaps there'll be another hymn in the middle of things to raise the vibrations. And once again, we invite people who, we're not singers, we just hum along, and it all sounds very, very nice. I don't know, the acoustics in that church always seem to be good. And then afterwards, after that particular part of the service, we go into the mediumship, and the medium will give messages of love and comfort and help to people, certain people in the congregation that evening. And we always say, whoever comes along, there's always somebody that's come that needs that message, maybe more than you do that night. So you've got to be aware of that. Everybody won't get a message, but sometimes in the philosophy side of things, you get your message there. Usually there's a closing prayer, which we ask the mediums to do. After thanking the mediums, we always invite you back. We sometimes have a raffle. We always invite you back for a cup of tea into the social room and a chat. And so that's the order of service that we do. And it's always appreciated by everyone.
Yeah. So your lovely friend from Canada's on, and she's saying hello this evening.
Oh, nice. I can't see anybody, Chris, because I'm
having to use my phone, guys, because we had to go on Zoom because we had a problem with StreamYard. So we're using Zoom, but I'm getting the questions off my phone. So
I don't know whether you can see me. Can you see me?
I can see you, yeah.
Can you? Oh, right.
Everyone can see
I can't see you.
Everyone can see you.
Right, that's good.
What's the other one? Oh, Katie White, my amazing mother-in-law, Pam. So Katie White's on as well. Must be
Oh, very nice, Katie. Hello.
Watching. Right, where are we at? So Debbie Henderson. So this is the next one. Debbie Henderson. Do you need to be aware of spirit to come to development classes? No, is a simple question. No, you don't. If you look at me, who was not into this movement when I started off, I wasn't aware of spirit. When I look back now, when I was a child, I had an imaginary friend, and my mum thought I was absolutely cuckoo. And she used to go, stop talking to that imaginary friend and things. So simple answer to your question is, do you need to be aware of spirit to come to development classes? Is no, because that's what the beginning class that Pam's went through there, that's what that's for. So that's getting you grounded, that's getting you settled, that's getting your mind put to peace, I would say, isn't it, Pam? Like you're trying to settle your mind down. That's what you're doing. Because what you need to do when you're connecting with spirit is we need to have a clear mind. So we can't go into it going, I need to go shopping and buy £50 worth of food. I need to go and fill the car up with petrol. I need to go and do this. I need to do that. it doesn't work when you're in that frame of mind. So we train you to drop everything off your mind. And that's normally done by meditation. Now, as Pam said, meditation's not for everyone, which is fine. But you will find something that suits you, even if it's just the quiet and listening to the background noise. So there is something there for you, Debbie. And I would say probably a lot of people have known about spirit before they've started training. A lot of people have, but there's also a lot of people out there that don't. So don't think because you don't sense them or know anything about them that it's not for you. It's for anyone. We open this up to anyone. We're very welcoming when it comes to things. And if it's going to bring a bit of comfort to you, then I would say you are more than welcome to come along. Drop us a Facebook message on the page and I'll get in touch with you and I'll let you know what's going on. I don't know if I mentioned it already, but February is probably when we're going to start off, depending on lockdown rules. That's dependent on lockdown rules. So that's where we are with that. So how long does the service last for? Do you want to take that one or do you want me to answer it?
Mm-hmm. Well, usually the service starts, Sunday night service starts at 6:30 and we usually finishing up about 8 o'clock. So that's roughly about an hour and a half. Usually we have a special through the month that can take about an hour and a half, roughly about the same time. So, you're getting quite a long service. And I know, as I say, sometimes if we have children in, they get a little bit fragile and they don't want to sit that long. But we always offer the social room. So if they get a bit upset, you can take them into the social room and still hear the service. So it's usually about an hour and a half hour services.
Yeah. And then Pam said there that we do specials as well. So for the classes, on the classes side of things as well, we normally start at 7:30 on a Thursday and we'll finish at about 9. Sometimes it might be 9:30. It depends how many people are in a group and how much we've got to get through. But we try to finish about 9, 9:15, but sometimes it can go to 9:30 at the very, very latest. So yeah, that's what we do with the classes. What was I going to say as well? There was something else I was going to say. Did you mention Mondays, didn't you? You mentioned the Monday services, yeah.
I haven't mentioned Monday. We do have a nice Monday afternoon service, which we run through the summer months. We start about March and we finish off about the end of September with Monday afternoons. And that's at 2:30. So if anyone's available for a Monday afternoon, you can always come along there. It's always a nice quiet afternoon. And we get some very nice people who come along. And as I say, it's a little start off point for you to come along and see how things work. And sometimes suit people, maybe on the afternoons rather than the evenings.
And you sometimes find as well that Mondays can be as busy as a Sunday night.
You're right, yes.
And I've walked in from work, I've called in on the way home from work before, and it's been absolutely jam-packed in here. And I need to say, it doesn't matter what day you come, really. It's the same. We welcome everyone. And anyone is welcome in the church. You don't have to, if you just want to come and have some peace away from your partner or your kids, whatever it is, you are more than welcome to come along to the church and just enjoy that space and time, because it helps sometimes just to get away and have that relaxing hour and a half or whatever it is.
A lot of people say, Chris, as well, don't they? A lot of people that come to our church, we come in here and we feel a little bit low and we walk out feeling a lot better. Yeah. And the vibrations are so nice, and the healing that you get around and about the church, you pick up on, and you go out feeling an awful lot better for being there. And a lot of people come just for that.
Exactly. Keep asking your questions as well, guys. I'm going to move on to the next one, though. How do you book a seat to attend a service at a chair? Can you book a seat for a regular basis, and when will it begin? What will the charge be for seats? Okay, so I'll answer that one. So how to book a seat, how I've said before, we're going to use a website called Eventbrite. I can't tell you how much the seat cost is going to be yet, because that needs to be agreed with the committee. As soon as that's agreed, we will publish it and let you know. In regards to booking a seat regular, what I need to say to you is it is a first come, first served basis. So we will be only allowing the bookings to happen if we've got we're only going to be doing one service a week at the moment, which is going to be a limited service. It's probably going to be down to an hour because we can't sing at the moment because of the government advice. So we're probably going to have some music to play during the service for one song. If we're going to that, it's just the order of service is going to have to change a little bit, which is a shame. But yeah, going back to your seats. So what we would advise is that you only book when you know that you're coming, because otherwise you're stopping someone else from coming if you book a seat and don't turn up. So I would advise strongly against reoccurring booking every time it becomes available. Give people a chance, you know, because we're still going to have the Zoom room, so you're still going to be able to participate in it. It just means that you're not going to be possibly interacting with the medium, unfortunately, with the Zoom room. It's not set in stone. The medium might turn to the Zoom room as well. I don't know. That's something that we're going to figure out. So once we know what the charges will be, we'll let you know. Now, if we're opening up in September, we're probably going to be looking at releasing the seats around about the end of August. So people can start booking up the first service. But what we won't be doing is releasing all the seats right up until the week before. So it'll be 1 week before the next week's service seats will be available. And it'll just be put on Facebook to say, here you go, and on our website to say, there you go, seats are available for you to book, and it is first come, first served. So if you're unable to get a seat, please don't feel disappointed, because you will still be able to view it on Zoom. There might be a small charge on Zoom as well, because this is costing us money to use Zoom. So we need to make sure that the church isn't out of pocket by it. So even if that's just a small charge for the year, for us just to keep the Zoom available to you until social distancing's dropped. Once it's dropped, we'll probably bring back all the chairs. Now we can hold 90 people in the church. We've got our fingers crossed that social distancing is going to drop before Christmas, because one of our best services throughout the year is the Christmas Carol service, isn't it, Pam?
Yeah,
that's
very
probably
popular.
one of the best ones. It's really busy Christmas, and it would be really, really sad to only have 22 people sat in the church for Christmas. So we're hoping that Boris is going to get rid of the social distancing by then, which will help us and help you to get back into church. So that's where we're at the moment with that. So I hope, Chelsea, Rebecca, that answers your question. Where are we at? Do members get a better chance of coming, Chris? I'm guessing you're talking about seats there, Bev. It's Bev Fisher. Hiya, Bev. It's first come, first serve, like I say. Now, I would love to be able to do that, but we've got over 40 members, and it's just not fair. So if the public book the seat before yourself, I can't do anything about it. But I do have to stress, if you are not coming to church, you need to let us know, because then we can offer that seat to someone else. We can put it on Facebook and say, we've got a seat of it, we've got a set of seats available, first come, first serve again. So it's giving you that opportunity to be able to book that seat. I think one of the things that we'll cover as well while we're in questions and answers here is how do we, you're probably going to wonder how we're going to let you in and things. So what I've been looking at the moment is we're probably going to be looking at doing time allocations. So you'll be emailed a time allocation, because we'll need to get your details and everything for test and trace in case we have an outbreak in the church, which I hope we never have, but we've got to do it just for that. And you'll be given a specific time that you need to arrive at church for, and then you'll be asked to take your seat straight away, and then you're sat ready for when the medium comes in to do the service. And then once that's done, the medium will leave and will ask you to leave by guiding the rows out of people. So we'll say, right, for example, back row first, would you like to leave? And then work back that way. It's just so you're not crossing each other and things. So that's another way that we're trying to control the risk as well. So that's the plan of action. We'll have markers down on the floor and everything as well for the one-way system, so you know where you need to go and everything like that. And I think that's probably about it.
Can I just say, Chris, we've got roughly about 8 weeks yet.
Yeah.
To that particular time when we're thinking
it could change.
Everything could change by then. You know, things could be drastically different, couldn't they?
Yeah.
So
it could change.
Fingers crossed.
Could change, like you say. Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But what we need to do is we need to plan for it just in case it's
right.
still in place. So that's the idea if everything's still in place with the government when we come back. Right. I come to the church on and off for a number of years, but how do you become a member? Very straightforward, that one, I think.
Dead easy.
Dead easy. There's forms as you walk in the church. Now, obviously, we won't be encouraging you to fill them in the front of the church when you come to church. So if you drop us a message on Facebook, Karen, I can send you a digital copy of the form and you can fill it out and send it back to me. Because what I don't want to do is encourage people to start filling forms out, because then we're blocking the entrance and the toilet's right next to the entrance as well. So what we need to do is keep that free. Unfortunately, we can't just let people walk around in the church because we've got to restrict the areas off. So you will only be allowed to come from the front door into the church. You can pick a form up and take it away with you as well, if that's easier as well, and then bring it back or post it back to us with your membership fees. So whichever's easier for you, we can do it that way. Either electronically, I can send you it and you can send it back to me, or you can you can just bring it back or post it back to us, whichever's easiest for you. And the membership for the year is £5, just in case you missed that earlier. Next one, will you still have to take everyone's names and addresses? And if so, wouldn't it be easier giving them a number? So that's Linda Richmond. Good question. We're probably not going to have to do it because Eventbrite gives us a list of everyone that's booked on the night. So the only way we would need to do that, Linda, is if it's a walk-in. So yes, we can do that contingently. We can do that as a backup. That's something I need to speak to Lee about when he gets back. So I'll probably get Lee to look into that. But yes, it's a good idea. It is something we can do. And then at least The idea behind that, what Linda's saying there, just so everyone's aware, is if you're walking and you're not a member of the church, we need your details for track and trace. So what we would do is we would give you like a little card with a number on it. Now that card will then register your details into one of our spreadsheets for the track and trace. And then what we can do is we can allocate your ticket number to that. So every time you come to church, rather than us going, what's your name, blah, 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 you can just go ticket number 105, for example. So then we just write down 105. And then if that person's in that night, we can just go, right, we need to let NHS know that ticket number 105 was in, which could be my card, for example, or it could be someone else that's came in. So that's the way we're looking at maybe doing it as well. And they'll be laminated as well, so you know yourself that it's clean. You can wipe it down and clean it. And then you know yourself that it's safe and you haven't got to worry about any infection or anything on it because it'll be in a sealed laminate pouch. I think that's probably going to be the easiest way to do it, to be fair. Diane Roy, this is probably one for you, Pam, because I'm looking and I'm going, where can I find the book Zodiac Messages? And a medium had a book called 101 Angels. Was that one from Doreen Virtue?
Right.
Now, I know the Zodiac Messages, that's Greater World, isn't it?
It is a Greater World publication, that. I think I mentioned this to Diane. We talked by email and I mentioned this, and it's through Greater World. And I don't know whether you would have to go into Greater World website and perhaps inquire from them. Yeah. Maybe you may be able to get it over in Canada through them. Yeah. So that might be a thing that you could do, Diane. Now, the medium that had that other book, can you remember the name of the medium, Diane, that had the book?
We'll see if she'll come back with a comment on that, Pam.
If she could, then Chris would be able to contact that medium and get the name of the book and everything for you.
I do remember, Diane, because I came to church and stole our Zodiac Messages book.
Well, you didn't steal it, you borrowed it from church.
I took it home so I could use it for the services, and yes. Bad Chris hasn't really used it that much. She doesn't know, no. She doesn't know, she said.
She can't remember the medium. No. Can anybody who's listening in remember the medium who read from that book? It was a lady, wasn't it?
Maybe worth Googling it. I'll have a look, see if I can see anything on Google about it, maybe.
Yeah.
Because the Zodiac, going back to your question about the Zodiac Messages, Diane, I went on Great World website before I came and took the book from the church, and I was trying to get one myself. Now, it is listed on their website, but for some reason you can't buy it, so you might have to email them and see if
I think contacting them would be best. Yeah.
There you go. Karen said it was Jackie Wright, and I'm sure Angels 101 was Doreen Virtue.
Right.
I hope that answers your question, Diane.
It was Jackie Wright who read the book.
Jackie Wright who's read the book, yeah.
The angel book.
Yeah. He read. Yeah, so Karen Leslie's put, was it Jackie Wright? Oh, sorry, was it Jackie Wright? I'm sure Angels 101 was Doreen Virtue.
Right. So you'll have Doreen's contact details then, Chris?
I don't know. I'll have to have a look.
I would have thought you might have done with having on the services.
I don't think I've got that Doreen Virtue on our list. I don't think I have. I'll have a look. Well, if I find anything, Diane, I'll come back to you and I'll let you know.
We'll research it.
Yeah, we'll have a look into it. But yeah, your Greater World book, you're probably better off emailing Greater World. Go on the website and they've got an email address on there. We could maybe contact Paul Merriweather as well if you don't get anywhere, Diane, and see if he can help out in any way, track them one down for us.
They're quite a big, heavy book, mind, aren't they?
Yeah.
It would be expensive to
It's
send.
about that big.
Yeah.
It's about that big. It's quite thick on its of the book. So I think it's over 1,000 pages in it.
Plenty to read.
Plenty to read. And there's all different bits as well in there. So there's different sections for different things. But yeah, I've had it out a couple of times, and hopefully we'll have it out again tomorrow night. I'll hopefully find something for tomorrow night that we can use it for as well. Karen Leslie's just came back to you there, Diane, and said, I'm sure you could get Angels 101 from Amazon or Waterstones.
Oh, well, there you go. You might be able to get the Zodiac messages through Amazon.
Yeah. I think there was a book on there, to be honest. I really do. I think there was a book on there for Zodiac messages, but it wasn't cheap. But it depends how much you want to pay for it at the end of the day, Diane. So have a look, see, because normally there are floating about on there and things when churches decide to move away or close and things. So you might find one there. You might do. But yeah. So that looks like all the questions that we've had so far. It doesn't look like we've got any more. So I think we've answered everything that we need to answer, really.
Well, I hope so. I hope we've given people an insight into what happens in a spiritualist church if you haven't been. And the people who have been before can all verify that, to say that they actually get a lot of pleasure and enjoyment and comfort and help and healing through coming to a spiritualist church, because that's what it's all about. That's what I like about it.
See, one of my, I'm just going to touch base on this before we finish. With Pam being president last year and I've took over this year, one of the things that I'm wanting to do is encourage people to engage with us more, whether it's via social media or in Zoom or whatever it is, because we can look at what we don't want to do is we don't want to keep the church in an old style mentality. We need to keep moving forward with time. Yeah. So if you think of something, please do not think that we will be offended in any way, shape or form of any suggestions that you think would help our church. Because what we can do as a committee is we can look at it and say, well, actually, yes, this will work. Or do we need a bit more to it? And it's about giving us them fundamental ideas so we can keep things going with the times. We don't want to be a church that's just stuck in the background doing the same mundane things. If people have got an interest in something, shout up about it, And that's what we're here for. We're here to help. And we are great believers in if we can help you, we will help. We do a range of services that I'm not really going to advertise on here, but people do come to us for special help and things. And if you need any of that support, you know where we are. There's the church mobile number on the website and the Facebook page, and there's also the email address. So there's plenty of ways to get in touch with us. So don't think that you can't get in touch with us at any point. But we would love to hear any suggestions that you have as well. And it doesn't have to be right now. But one thing I do want to promote before I go is me and Kyle are going to be doing a bike ride coast to coast, and all the money is going to be raised for the church. So all the money will go to the church. It won't be going to us. It'll be going to the church. So watch out for that information coming up, because that will be coming up in the next week or so, because we're planning to go the first week of September, hopefully. And we'll be gone for about 4 days doing it. So I will probably be a broken man when I get back for about a week, because it's 138 miles. But hey ho, I signed up
one side of the country to the other.
Yeah. So it's things like that. Give us some ideas for us to work with, because we're here to help at the end of the day. And we've always been a great believer as a committee of it's not our church, it's everyone's church. everyone who walks through the door owns a part of it. Even though you might not in words and deeds, you're still a part of the church. So any suggestions, please get in touch with us and we will be more than willing to take on board any suggestions and look at them. So I think from that, we'll both say good night to them. And
can everybody join us on Sunday? We've got a nice new medium on Sunday, haven't we?
Yeah, we've got June
6:30.
6:30 on Sunday. So tomorrow night, 6:30, we've got June Hughes with us. And I just want to do a shout out to any healers that are watching as well. Can you please send some healing out for a lady called Jan Colburn, because she's not very well at the moment. So any of our healers that are watching, please add that to the basket, and also send some healing thoughts out for her because she needs it at the moment. So on that note, thank you for all your questions. Thank you for letting us answer them, and we will come back to you in the near future if we think there's a need for it. So on that note, Facebook, we're going to say good night.